Yo, what up, boys? It's the time for the second video of the Trickster. And if you got any questions about the build, what I do, why I do, and why I don't do whatever, just ask and I'll respond to them in the next video. And let's get right into it. So I'm now 89. And I got a bit lucky with corrupting blood. Corruption. I think this was on like 15th or 10th or something like that Valorb, and it got a decent base too with attack speed, attack cast speed and spell block. And well, I tried to corrupt a bunch of other ones. So basically, I just like alt out some useful 2 mods, maybe Regal, and then I just corrupt. We need this for Awakener. Another upgrade is we did the siege map that I was talking about. I didn't actually complete the map. I just like run the map for the craft, and now I have gloves and a helm with avoid ailments. So that's 50%. We get another 20% here, and I found a chance to dodge attack hits, small closet jewel, and I rolled elegant form on it, which gives 30%. So I am currently immune to all elemental ailments. This is actually more immunities than these. You're also immune to scorch, brittle, and sap, which are all very dangerous or like noticeable elemental ailments in simulacrums. Yeah, so I was at like 7.5k ES, I think, when I finally got the craft. And so I had to drop the helm, so I lost like what 60 ES from the helm or something like that. This is just a random alt out Regal. Other upgrades, I found a usable Ancient ring. This is actually pretty nice. I will probably put Malevolence here, because once I get a 5 link, yes, I'm still on a 4 link at almost level 90 right now. I need to put the Flame Dash with Arcane Surge somewhere else. So what will probably happen is I'll put Malevolence there. I'll drop the increased duration because it's only level 1, because I don't have the strength to level it further. And yeah, then we have room to actually have 6 link here for our ED. My gems are still level 19. I upgraded my belt. I'll Regal the better belt because I needed a bit of extra resist. And well, I happen to hit also T2 ES, which is very nice. Boots are still the same. I think this is still the same. Amulet is still the same. Weapon is still the same. I've tried crafting this a few times. So this is an item level 12 one, because of the easy access to getting the +1 chaos. And level 12 gives you the item level for the second tier chaos.multi, which we have the first one right now. The second one goes to like 19 to 23, I think. And how I'm doing it is whenever I get a aberrant fossil, I'll do aberrant, frigid, and scorched, and a 3 mod resonator for it. So that removes fire damage overtime multiplier, cold damage overtime multiplier, and then it removes both of the resistances too from a cold and a fire. So it just removes a lot of affixes, which makes it easier to hit it. I think we've used 3 so far. I think the average is like 5 or 6, with like confidence of like 66% according to Craft Exile. You could also use Corrod to remove all of the elemental modifiers, but Corrod, especially in Trade League, is, I'd say, too valuable for this kind of low level craft, in my opinion. And well, for Soul Self-Found, I'd say you'd rather save this for some more ambitious crafts. Chest piece is still the same. So basically, the only thing that really changed was ring, belt, and my helm. I've now also got an overcharged fully. In the last video, I only had 1 point, so this gives me entering and friendly charges while mapping. I'll basically have permanent friendly charges while mapping, so that's a nice cast speed and some extra damage. And speaking of charges, this chest here is a very good starting CI chest. So this is slightly less ES than my current current chest, like 50 less ES, but it's also a bad roll. But this is like 500 ES, well, over 500 ES chest piece. So the big thing about this is the 100% increased Enduring Frenzy and Power Charge duration. Well, Enduring Frenzy for us. So that makes the charges last twice as long. So you could actually run something like Enduring Cry for bosses, or like even you could even have Frenzy here, and you can just like tap Frenzy during boss fights to have them. And then it gives like a decent, like almost 90 life regen. Well, ES region for us because we have Seal of Souls. But yeah, I've been trying to 5-link this. I currently use like about 150 is fusings on this chest alone. I think I used probably 50 on this trying to 5-link. So slightly unlucky with that, but it doesn't really matter. I've already done red maps. I have a bunch of red maps already. Well, I don't many that right now, like 2 because I've run them, but I haven't really had any issues with the bosses. So the highest conqueror I've done now so far, I think I've done 2 tier 10 conquerors, and the damage honestly isn't that bad. And we can actually go here. So here's a mapping config. So this is for Shaper Guardian DPS. So let's take the withering stacks off because we don't usually have that while we're killing trash. Obviously, the moment we start blinding or we wall blight into something, it's like instant 10 wither stacks. But just for the sake of ED damage with the frenzy charges while we're mapping, it's around 100k, I think, right now. Yeah, 106k, which is honestly more than fine. I haven't had any issues in my ED clear, even in the T11s that I've run. And I could be just speed farming like T8 maps to try to get the large cluster jewel for the spell damage, or like chaos stop multi-cluster, or better. Ideally, I would be actually using currently I would rather be using a spell dodge cluster jewel, because that will give me 1 extra spell dodge, which is going to be very useful when we go for Awakener. But in the case that the cluster jewels aren't exactly available next league, that's not going to be a problem, because we could take elemental focus. So we would repath this, probably go through this, or just take that 1 extra point and then go for elemental focus for 10% chance to avoid elements. And then you could roll a hybrid shield, evasion ES shield. It goes up to I believe 22%, so that would cap our avoidance. You could potentially, if you have a good chest piece with the evasion ES hybrid percentage and an open prefix, you could craft the avoidance to chest piece. This goes up to 35%. I think it's like 25 to 35% if you have the unavail for that. But I'd assume it's not gonna be too hard to get, and there's like 4 different, well actually there's much more jewels that you can get. So you can get flexible sentry, which gives you 25%, which in that case you would need that 1 extra node in the elemental focus, or you could like anoint that, but I have anointed that sanctuary. Sanctuary is just actually insane. That's 36 resist total with some attack and spell block. But you could also just anoint elemental focus, that's just fine. You could potentially anoint crystal skin, but that's pretty expensive early on. But yeah, and yeah, there's just many ways. Shaper boots can also get it, and my endgame boots would actually be a Redeemer and Shaper boots, Awakener together with spell dodge and avoidance. Then I don't need to get one of these, so I would have like a much better helm. But like my gloves are probably gonna be multi-modded Delirium gloves with just +1 AoE and then the avoidance. I actually have the craft already, I believe. Yeah, so we want this on the gloves. We need the extra AoE to actually get a threshold for the next radius on contagion, and we'll just put the blight in the gloves. So this would be like 30% more damage over time gloves with +1 for blight, and that's gonna be more than fine. You could also have the ED there, but if you want to have ED on the gloves, then you kind of want to have +1 projectile as well for another +1. So then in that case, you would have to have the ailment avoidance in the helm. But yeah. What up? So I have the shield. This is the same shield still. So I want to upgrade this. So this is like about extra 80-ish, like 70 ES. And that gives me like 400, well no, 340 extra ES. And with that, some levels to get some ES, maybe upgrade. I'm definitely gonna try to get a better helm still. I'm probably gonna exalt this once I get Leo Slam. If we hit the hybrid ES on this, it's gonna be a very useful helm. We need to get a second craft here. I think that's from Lava Lake. Yeah, that's a Lava Lake map. That could give me a 20% ES here. On the amulet, that would be very useful. I definitely want to get a crystal belt. But before I try crafting crystal belt, I need to get some defense catalysts, which I don't have. And that's gonna give me probably like a few hundred ES switching from that, and I don't necessarily need this. The only reason I have the belt right now is because I just happen to have some useful jewels. Like this is not exactly the greatest, it's just 6% ES and some damage, 8% ES and some damage, so I could just slap this right there for now and then get a better ES belt. Not very hard to get better belt than this. So we're gonna hit the 8k ES relatively easy, and at 8k ES, ailment immune, well, elemental ailment immune, corrupting blood immune, we're actually gonna be ready for Awakener. And we really just want the jewel, so I will be fighting a Awakener level 0, so I'm just gonna drop every single watchstone out of my Atlas. Well, all but 3, I guess, because 3 doesn't still give you Awakener level. And then we'll hope we get Thread of Hope, we slap the Thread of Hope there, we get Phase Aggro, and then we get some block from these. This is also decent amount of ES, 40% defenses from a 300 ES shield is quite noticeable, and there's some damage. And I'd also probably take silent steps, take this cluster here for the sovereignty, and maybe use Flesh and Stone for permanently blinding everything, even though I have 4 uses of Tip Knight even during boss fights to keep them blind. Having the permanent blind from Flesh and Stone is pretty good. But yeah, that's where the build is at right now. For the next video, I think I'll also include a red conqueror fight, so you can see how the fight is. But right now, without frenzy charges, I think we are at, we can actually check. So let's take frenzy charges out. Let's put 10 wither stacks. I can peak it at higher. Like I can definitely peak it at 15, but I want to have a constant, like an average DPS value here. So we don't have frenzy charges during boss fights. Frenzy charges, it's kind of whatever. Of course, they don't give us damage. But let's say we have the 10 wither stacks. My ED is like 140k, and then the blight is already at 460k because you just multiply this by 20. This is one stack, so we're already over 500,000 shaper DPS for single target using 2 4 links. And we can also slap in the Bane because we are running Bane, and Bane is another 60k. So we're like almost touching in the 600k shaper DPS with a 4 link, and a 3 link with level 19 gems. So while having very good defenses already. So I'm pretty happy. We need to flip, we need to flip all the gems. Once we get a 5 link, actually we can check how much the 5 link would add to our ED. Oh, that's the wrong one. That one. And then, where's my ED? There. Let's say we're probably gonna use Swift Affliction, because hopefully we'll get another or hopefully we get a medium glass jewel, and for the medium glass jewel we could roll at least one duration notable, and that would help against the Swift Affliction's reduced duration. But yeah, that would give me another 60k on my ED. And then let's say that we hit level 20 on that. Let's put the Wall Blight into level 20 as well. So that's now 220k on the ED. And Wall Blight is 500k. So that's 700k. Well, actually that's just Blight. Wall Blight does even more. Wall Blight does like over 700k right now. But that's already like 700k on the Blight and ED combined. So the damage is more than fine, so it's just about surviving at that point. And we have pretty good defenses for that. And speaking of the defenses, there's another really good suffix we can use on our chest piece. And that is what I like to call the ES potion. A lot of people really dislike like CI because they can't use the life potion. Well, there's a suffix on chest piece which at the first rank goes up to 25% of energy shield recovered when you focus. And this is basically a flask without charges, but with a cooldown instead. So the focus is a 12-second cooldown skill. So every 12 seconds, you could recover 25% of your ES. So this is like a really nice oh shit button for boss fights and stuff. And I believe the last rank is like 31% or 33%, which is it's pretty noticeable if you don't have the crazy sustain of ES and block and stuff like that. Also, yeah, before you well, you're probably wondering why didn't I have anything here. I had face run here, but I decided to drop it out like literally just before making the video, because I don't want to tell you to use face run here if you're running overcharge that gives you charges, because face run consumes those charges. And now you're thinking about, hey, why aren't you using Withering Step? And I was actually using it a bit, but there's one big downside to using Withering Step. But yeah, you can have Withering Step in your left mouse button, and it applies withered stacks to nearby enemies. I think it's up to like 4 withered stacks, which is kind of nice. And it gives you phasing, and it gives you some spell dodge, attack block while it's on, as you can see, and it keeps going down from the elusive buff. But it has one really big issue for me, and that is it takes away flame dash charges. And if you get used to it, you can absolutely use Withering Step. I'm probably gonna give it another try, and it's probably just because I haven't been used to it, because I haven't played with it much. But I almost died because I didn't have my flame dash charges. As you can see, when Withering Step procs while your flame dash is still on the cool, or is about to get charges, it stops them from gaining them, and now I don't have any flame dash charges, and that can be a bit scary. Other stuff you could have there, well, you could have a steel skin there, but I don't have strength, so it would be like 200 damage or something like that, very useless. It could be Vortex for chill, I suppose, which is not a bad idea. But I'll probably just either level another gem here, but at the moment I get a 5 link, I have to put my Malevolence there for now anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, eventually we'll drop increased duration. We will eventually also do Valk Race, but right now Valk Race is very good. Slapping this on and for any hard stuff, and we basically stop dying. But once we get face aggro, and eventually when we get the boots craft for the spell dodge, I will just drop that. So you don't need an undead ring in the endgame setup, but having it is not exactly a bad idea. Yeah, I think that's enough for now for this. Probably see you in a few days. Again, if you have any questions, just ask them in the comment section. I'll respond to them in the next video. And I'll also include the current POB on how the build is right now, so you can tinker around with it. Well, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.